I mean, I think the most interesting number that they gave was that 90% of PS4 users are connecting or have connected, right? Which means two things. Like that does that mean they're connected all the time, or is it
they've had the handshake?
And they were like hyping that number as a big number, which I definitely agree with. But you also have to remember at this point, the people buying a PS4 are the guys and girls that have. They have the
connectivity. Like,
right?
you're going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So, and even if you don't have the connectivity, you're still going to want to go on there. You're going to download stuff.
But we didn't really see anything that I felt like needed to be connected to the internet anyways, right? So like, the big games that were there were MLB, which I don't know if we're going to talk about because sports.
Sports.
Infamous. And The Order. And that's what we were told going to be there. And then all of a sudden I get there and there's like all these indie games, and I sent out I literally sent the flare up to Rob. It was a couple blocks from our office, and I'm like, "Get over here! What are you doing?"
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was great to see so many different companies, and there were tons of games all over the place. I think one of the big things is the couch experience that they're going for. It's just there were so many. You could hear it from the Towerfall Ascension corner, basically, because they had both the co-op section of Towerfall Ascension, was the new part of Towerfall Ascension, and then they also had the multiplayer, which I have to say, every single time I saw 4 people playing it. They also had Super Sports Friends, Pole Riders was the big game that they had going on there, as well as
like Hotline Miami 2.
Hotline Miami 2.
I tortured myself a little bit through that.
Oh, it
got through one level.
It's fantastic, but it's also, did you try 1001 Spikes?
Oh, yeah. That was really cool.
Well, they also have a multiplayer that I did not know about.
Yeah, the competitive was really fun.
And they were saying this was it for them. They just wanted to throw it all out there. They wanted to show everything. And the competitive side, because it was you and 3 other people, but it's in these crazy rooms where you're going to die in 5 seconds.
Yeah, there's a lot of yelling going on in that room. There was a lot of just happy yelling.
There was a lot of happy yelling, but it was fun. Like I said, I think it's the couch co-op experience that people they're getting in on that with all these great sports indie games that they have.
I love those events, and just the problem is I feel like those are always the best way to play those games. And then when I get home, I never have anyone over.
You never have
it's
nearly
enough
people.
Be online.
Oh, completely.
Well, it's kind of here in the office, there's been dudes back playing EDF, for 2 days straight. There's another set of dudes back there.
I'll never get anyone to come over and play EDF with me. If I call any of you, no one's ever gonna come over.
I will come over
That's
and
a
play.
lie.
I will.
Only because I have pie, but
I will,
definitely not.
You know what? I will come over
just to play EDF.
I will come over just to play EDF. Probably not as long as those guys were, because they were here until past midnight.
It's ridiculous.
Just playing. I was like, what are you guys, go home, go to sleep.
Well, some of the other games, we should, I guess, focus more on Sony and less on EDF. But we saw The Order for the first time.
Which, what they showed is weird, because it's basically they proved that this is a game.
Right.
But they didn't show us what the game is.
Hey, it's more of a game than Last Guardian at this point. So
right.
No, it's I guess it was weird, but they did do a lot of kind of preamble, getting it set up, and it's really just to show off the cinematic qualities. They didn't really want to show us the game. They really just wanted to show kind of the cutscenes and how you transition from cutscene to gameplay.
It's basically, hey, look, we're proving it to you right now that this is in engine.
Yep. It's an Uncharted thing of you're all of a sudden you're in a cutscene and you're like, am I playing this now?
Right.
And I'm dead. But I think
they talked about their QuickTime events and how they want to do kind of the heavy rainish type thing where the QuickTime events branch so that it's not necessarily a fail state if you miss something.
But you'll get a different outcome by doing different
and then
things.
At the end, you could pick this weapon or pick that weapon to finish the guy off. And they were saying something about different melee attacks for different characters.
Which I didn't know if that meant that we could pick which character we want to play through that.
That's weird because it didn't feel like you could. It felt like you were stuck in whichever character.
But you would jump into different characters throughout.
Possibly. Is it a co-op game?
No, they said it's not co-op. They said single player. So.
People say a lot of things. We've all heard this before.
Right. I mean, from what you saw, are you more interested in it or just more confused by it?
I think we knew it was a third-person shooter, and we knew kind of the world they were in. And at this point, I'd like to see kind of that longer gameplay section. What makes them unique other than the technology? And like I said, in their defense, they were really talking and pushing the technology.
Right.
And that's what they were. That was their focus. So, you know, E3's right around the corner.
Right.
Oh God. It hurts to say it out loud.
Yeah, well, and Infamous is sort of similar in that they're still being super cagey about what's actually in the game. Because I think they know now that like so many people want a PS4 game and a next-gen game, and like that this
is going to be the big one. This is going to be the push.
That this time around that, you know, people are hungry for something and they're going to buy it, so they don't have to give away all their secrets. So they won't even tell you how many powers are in the game that you can absorb. I'm putting my bet on 5.
5 powers that you can. I mean, are we talking about like different types of powers? Like, you know, last time we had like electricity, fire, ice.
Yeah, so now you have smoke and neon and then unknown beyond that. But his whole thing is that he can absorb powers from other conduits just by touching them. So you would think there would be at least a couple more than the last game, right? But it would be stuff that you would naturally pick up from the environment because that's what you do.
Well,
like you walk around and you suck it out.
Seattle, right?
Yeah. So coffee has been
coffee
a
power.
good.
Smugness? Is smugness a power?
Yes. It's a power up there. It gets you into a lot of places. But like, did you see any of like the enemies or anything like that? We're
still seeing the same. That's the thing. We're still seeing the same
Runs,
DUP
kind
of. Just sort of like.
officers. We're seeing like the more powerful guys that have like conduit-like powers where they're like putting up stone shields and then like jumping with stone pillars and stuff like that.
So could like stone be
could be one.
One of the things, or concrete.
Concrete, I think, is more likely. But
well, and I felt like for the second game they put so much out. You had already seen most of it by the time you played it, so it feels like it definitely feels like they're pulling back. We got this one. We actually both got to play a little bit on.
How was it?
It's about third, I think I asked, and it was about a third of the way into the game. As a character, I felt a little underpowered, but I don't know if this plays into like, at this point, I should have 2 other powers, and you know, who knows? Like I don't know. This didn't feel like maybe it was just a straight slice of a demo or like of a level. It felt like it was something that was kind of crafted for this event with some.
Oh, it's very definitely.
With some things turned off.
I think it's not only crafted for the event. I think it's probably going to be the demo that they put out to people because they censored the power. What they had shown us like 5 minutes earlier, they had that censored in the playable. But now, so like, why would you censor that?
Yeah,
but not be allowing anyone to film it?
That's a good call. It'll probably be the demo. Like I felt a little underpowered with the neon. It felt a little hollow as you were, shooting guys.
So the neon's just like shooting? Or like,
it's kind of like the electricity from the last time, right? It's your zap.
Yeah, the one thing that's a little bit different with neon is like when you go into your aim mode, you actually see the weak points with neon, which you don't see with smoke. And then like your ranged weapon is a little bit different with smoke. You actually put out a smoke bomb, and then you have to go up and like incapacitate the guys as they're choking. Whereas the neon, it's more of an explosion type thing. Okay. And then on the good side, I guess the neon had like a slow-mo effect when you zoomed in.
Zoom in, so you
had a couple of seconds to fine-tune your aim.
Because they want you to knee people, you know, on the good side instead of just killing them.
Was
it ankle?
Yeah, I shoot them in the ankle.
Ankle
shots instead of head shots.
So yeah, it looks great. The traversal is always very good. I'm just a tiny bit worried about kind of how hollow I felt.
Yeah,
but
I still had a sense of like there are guys all over the place shooting me, and where are they?
Yep.
Right.
So I'm a little worried about that.
But that's also that weird, like, I hate getting thrown in, and it happens all the time when it's like, hey, you're 40% of the game, go.
Yeah.
And you're like, ah.
But it also sounds like they were
jump?
Right, and they sound like they were also like sort of like taking out like some of the other elements that you might have along with you that might help you out in this situation.
I think for PS4 fans, it's definitely the must-buy game coming up. It's been a slow Q1 for all of us.
It's been a slow crawl for all the consoles.
So March is gonna get crazy.
Oh yeah.